Raleigh Mandela was born into the Madiba clan in the village of Mvizo, in the Eastern Cape, on the 18th of July 1918. His mother was Nonkafi Noskini and his father was Nkosi Mfakani Swagadla Mandela, principal counselor to the acting king of the Thembu people, Jongintaba Dalindiibo. In 1930, when he was 12 years old, his father died and the young Raleigh became a ward of Jongintaba at the great place in Mqhekiswiniwan. Hearing the elders' stories of his ancestors' valor during the wars of resistance, he dreamed also of making his own contribution to the freedom struggle of his people. Video overlay Mandela. He attended primary school in Kwanu where his teacher, Miss Mdingane, gave him the name Nelson, in accordance with the custom of giving all schoolchildren Christian names. He completed his junior certificate at Clarkberry Boarding Institute and went on to Heeltown, a Wesleyan secondary school of some repute, where he matriculated. Mandela began his studies for a Bachelor of Arts degree at the University College of Fort Hare, but did not complete the degree there as he was expelled for joining in a student protest. On his return to the great place at Mqhekiswini, the king was furious and said if he didn't return to Fort Hare he would arrange wives for him and his cousin Justice. They ran away to Johannesburg instead, arriving there in 1941. There he worked as a mine security officer, and after meeting Walter Sisulu, an estate agent, he was introduced to Lazar Sileski. He then did his articles through a firm of attorneys, Witkin, Eidelman and Sileski. He completed his BA through the University of South Africa and went back to Fort Hare for his graduation in 1943. Meanwhile, he began studying for an LLB at the University of the Witwatersrand. By his own admission, he was a poor student and left the university in 1952 without graduating. He only started studying again through the University of London after his imprisonment in 1962, but also did not complete that degree. In 1989, while in the last months of his imprisonment, he obtained an LLB through the University of South Africa. He graduated in absentia at a ceremony in Cape Town. Entering politics, Mandela, while increasingly politically involved from 1942, only joined the African National Congress in 1944 when he helped to form the ANC Youth League. In 1944, he married Walter Sisulu's cousin, Evelyn Mace, a nurse. They had two sons, Madiba Thembekile Thembai and Makgatho, and two daughters both called Makasu, the first of whom died in infancy. He and his wife divorced in 1958. Mandela rose through the ranks of the ANCYL, and through its efforts, the ANC adopted a more radical mass-based policy, the Program of Action. In 1949, in 1952 he was chosen as the National Volunteer-in-Chief of the Defiance Campaign with Malvi Kachelia as his deputy. This campaign of civil disobedience against 6 unjust laws was a joint program between the ANC and the South African Indian Congress. He and 19 others were charged under the Suppression of Communism Act for their part in the campaign and sentenced to 9 months of hard labor, suspended for 2 years. A 2-year diploma in law on top of his BA allowed Mandela to practice law, and in August 1952 he and Oliver Tambo established South Africa's first black-owned law firm in the 1950s, Mandela and Tambo II. At the end of 1952 he was banned for the first time. As a restricted person he was only permitted to watch in secret as the Freedom Charter was adopted in Kliptown on the 26th of June 1955. The treason trial. Mandela was arrested in a countrywide police swoop on the 5th of December 1956, which led to the 1956 treason trial. Men and women of all races found themselves in the dock in the marathon trial that only ended when the last 28 accused, including Mandela, were acquitted on the 29th of March 1961. On the 21st of March 1960, police killed 69 unarmed people in a protest in Sharpeville against the pass laws. This led to the country's first state of emergency and the banning of the ANC and the Pan-Africanist Congress on the 8th of April. Mandela and his colleagues in the treason trial were among thousands detained during the state of emergency. During the trial, Mandela married a social worker, Winnie Madikizela, on the 14th of June 1958. They had 2 daughters, Zinani and Zinziswa. The couple divorced in 1996. Days before the end of the treason trial, Mandela traveled to Pietermaritzburg to speak at the All in Africa conference, which resolved that he should write to Prime Minister Verwoerd requesting a national convention on a non-racial constitution. and to warn that should he not agree there would be a national strike against South Africa becoming a republic. After he and his colleagues were acquitted in the treason trial, Mandela went underground and began planning a national strike for 29, 30, and the 31st of March. In the face of massive mobilization of state security, the strike was called off early. In June 1961, he was asked to lead the armed struggle and help to establish Umkhonto we Sizwe, which launched on the 16th of December 1961 with a series of explosions. Released from prison on the 12th of August 1988, he was taken to hospital where he was diagnosed with tuberculosis. After more than 3 months in 2 hospitals, he was transferred on the 7th of December 1988 to a house at Victor Verster prison near Paarl, where he spent his last 14 months of imprisonment. He was released from its gates on Sunday the 11th of February 1990. 9 days after the unbanning of the ANC and the PAC, and nearly 4 months after the release of his remaining Rivonia comrades. Throughout his imprisonment, he had rejected at least 3 conditional offers of release. Mandela immersed himself in official talks to end white minority rule, and in 1991 was elected ANC president to replace his ailing friend, Oliver Tambo. In 1993, he and President F.W. de Klerk jointly won the Nobel Peace Prize, and on the 27th of April 1994, he voted for the first time in his life president. On the 10th of May 1994, he was inaugurated as South Africa's first democratically elected president. On his 80th birthday in 1998, he married Graca Machel, his third wife. True to his promise, Mandela stepped down in 1999 after 1 term as president. He continued to work with the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund he set up in 1995 and established the Nelson Mandela Foundation and the Mandela Rhodes Foundation.